Take some of the biggest characters in the game and some of the biggest bankrolls, sprinkle in some serious talent, and one enigma, garnish with an online qualifier, and what have you got? The Party Poker Live big game. This time coming to you from the King's Casino in Razvedov. Rob Yong, the big winner on the night so far, making a tidy 128,000 euro profit for just a little over 4 hours work. John G, however, has only been playing for 90 minutes of that, and after replacing Leon Serkinik, credit must go to John for parlaying his 40K into 114,000 already. The Wolf started well before fortunes have taken a nosedive for him. And Tony G has just had one of those days from the get-go. He's just reloaded another 100K, and with over €1 million now on this table, things could get interesting at this magnificent King's Casino.
It's beautiful. I mean, the first time I came here was only a few months ago, and the casino and hotel had been built, but it just opened at the time.
Here's how classy this place is. There's sliced lemons and oranges in the urinals. I mean, just, you know. Is anything classier than that?
That is a certain level. This is the kind of stuff Leon likes. I mean, I was talking to Sam yesterday, and I hope it's not betraying his confidence too much to tell toilet stories, but he said he was sat on the toilet and noticed the little gritting between the tiles on the wall had little gold glitter in them. Because that's the level of detail we're dealing with here. It's stunning, and I was lucky enough last time I was here to see the presidential suite Rob was staying in. It's ginormous place. I remember them saying it cost something like €2 million just alone just to do that one room.
I'm just laughing because just thinking of poor Jan Peter Yakman. I was a story. You heard this story? A story was relayed to me about Jan Peter Yakman.
Jan Peter Yakman's suite.
Yeah, he demanded, or he requested that if he was going to play in this game, he'd be given one of the hotel suites. But there are some real high rollers in here. Obviously, Michael Van Gerwen's in town. So what they did was they took one of the smallest rooms in the hotel and put a plaque on the door.
I get that it was the smallest.
Yeah,
you know,
the smallest.
They went out with the measure.
Single. They called it the Yakman suite.
Well, whilst this is going, there's quite a pot kicking off here. We see the Wolf's got aces with a gut shot raw flush draw. Isildur's flop jacks full. Tony G is a king for trips.
Oh.
So definitely some action. Isildur with way the best of it now, but he'll be worried they've both got a king here. A lot of bank
there are no safe cards beyond the jack for him.
No, exactly. As it happens, he's in amazing shape. Tony can only hit a 10 or a 7, and he's got 2 of the 7s in his hand. The Wolf needs an ace or the queen of diamonds.
Is check the only play? Is it like pot control
this is a really peculiar spot because you're playing. When you've got the Wolf with there, you don't know what he could have. You know, it's not as defined as that, and you just don't know what the bad cards are.
Right.
It's a really weird spot.
Sidwan check.
In theory, you want to see a low card, but you don't know with these guys. Well, that's the card you do want to see. A diamond's definitely the card you want to see. When I don't think Tony wouldn't pay him off with a flush, but the Wolf.
7 check.
All right, he's just happy to get to showdown.
You would have been happy enough to make a medium-sized value bet,
for sure. Given again, we're more aware of the hands the Wolf's playing. You know, Isildur might not be. He's seen the hands got the showdown. I mean, this is an easy call.
Right, because for the Wolf to have a full house, he would have had to have a king and check behind on the turn.
Yeah.
Which doesn't feel.
It doesn't feel very wolfy.
No, does not feel wolfy.
And you can pretty much assume that, as well, you know, Tony had the case king. So it's not like he's walking into quads or something.
I mean, is there any train of thought where Isildur is thinking about raising now because Tony's out? He knows.
No, I don't think he's thinking about raising. Of course, it's Isildur, he could be doing anything, but he literally loses to King 5.
Yep, chat. Pros in the chat thinking call is the only play here.
7.
Wow.
Wow. And just to be like put it in context, James, that is a fold
cards, yeah.
against any value bet in any normal high-stakes game.
For sure. For sure. I mean, the wolf's sitting there probably thinking they've both got a king, they both missed, and they've checked to me, I've got to bet my flush. I couldn't fold that hand. You know, you block king jack. Tony G's blocking a lot of the houses because he almost certainly has a king himself.
Yeah.
The format tonight? Well, it's a 36-hour cash game that starts with a bit of Pot Limit Omaha before moving on to No Limit Hold'em. That's when we'll get to see Van Gerwen play. Yes! The minimum buy-in in this game, 20,000 euros. The maximum was 40,000 euros, but now there's no maximum buy-in at all. You want to reload big? You can. But beware, play too tight and you might be voted off. That will be the fate of one player every 3 hours. For shame! Although the most aggressive player and the online qualifier, Gary, are exempt. Got it? John G putting in his blind, and the wolf on his left. Now he's moved from seat 1 to seat 3,
So it's
maybe
now
to change his luck,
1,
maybe to get position on John
sit 4,
G.
yeah? Sit 4, 8,
Maybe he just likes lazy Susans.
sit 6, raise 2000. 7 call, 8, 4,
Like 8.
2000.
Okay.
Still going, yeah?
Yes, 2000. 2 call, 3 call, 4 call. Five players.
So it went 2, 4, 8, and Tony
Wow, what a flop for
Yeah.
Tony G.
After
Here we
he
go.
blasted the dead kings, the weak kings on the button. He hits
This-
gin.
This flop is the flop we call good to go. Life in. How much can I borrow? Top set and the flush draw.
Really, I thought good to go was really how you start off every bad beat story. So I was good to go, right?
Yeah.
And Tony G was in the game.
Obviously, you know, there are a lot of straight combos on this board. As it happens, no one really has any of them. But he could feasibly get action on this board. He's unlucky that no one has a queen jack
So
9 or.
it's six-handed. Tony G's last to act, and he cannot get any money in that pot.
That's sickening.
And you are a big one, yeah? This plays.
But obviously, the funny thing
Right
is,
now.
even as good as that hand is,
No,
when
no,
you get
no.
action sometimes over ace queen jack with the suit,
It will be played
you know, with the nut clubs,
No.
Right.
you're hating life.
Welcome back to the big game, coming to you from King's Casino Rasvada on the German-Czech border, and we are soon to welcome a German to the table. It's the guy with the best mustache in poker, Philipp. Gruissem is coming soon. What do you know about Philipp Gruissem and Omaha? I've only seen him play NLH.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd imagine he's an accomplished player in Omaha. I haven't seen him play it, but I can't imagine he is. And with how strong he is at Hold'em and his theory and that sort of stuff, I can't imagine him, even if he doesn't play Omaha that often, being anything but good.
3,000, please. It's 7. 2 fold. 3,000. 3,000.
This is what I say. This, as you were saying, this is a nice spot for Isvadar being in late position with all these straddles in front of him, because when he does get, you know, a hand like this, he can try and ISO these guys.
Yeah, does he look a little more dialed into you right now?
Yeah, I
a
mean,
little bit of bigger stack. This is more his kind of game.
This is a bit nicer. And again, his hand doesn't look great, but it does connect. He's got a nut suit. He can flop Broadway draws. He can
4 players.
flop low. It's, you know, it's not a premium hand, but it's good. Flop of not a lot.
No, but if it's check to Isildur, you barrel here, right? To kind of see what the lay of the land is.
Yeah, you can bet because
The free
you know-
card doesn't do you any good.
no, because you don't want to make it. You don't really want to make a 10-9 flush multi. But checking is also completely fine.
Okay.
But obviously, you can bet there and live on like the draws a little bit, maybe. But again, maybe not in this game. Maybe people aren't going to fold the queen high flush draw.
6 bet, 3,000. 7 fold. 3 call, 5 fold. Heads up.
Not quite what the Wolf's doing here, calling with a pair of sevens.
So,
Check, 3.
my
10,000.
lord.
Bet 6.
Lovely river for Tony.
Try and randomly suggest 4 cards that Tony could have that the Wolf is beating. I think the 3-3.
A miss, yeah, some miss.
Right, 7, 9, 10,
straight
jack.
draw, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But when you've got 2 sevens in your hand, you block the bluffs. It's never a good spot to be in if you want to call a bluff. When you block
I just
them.
want to see it, Tony.
Showdown.
Obviously, card removal far more important in Omaha than Hold'em, purely because you have so many cards.
That's 38,000 beans for Tony G. And a new player coming to the table to spice things up.
Jan Peter is out, and replacing him is an aggressive player. I think that's a bit of an understatement. Philipp Gruissem. Philipp, we had a lot of aggression early on in this game, and we're now 5 hours in. You're a bit of an aggressive player, so are you going to play nice or are you going to come out firing?
I don't know yet, honestly. Like, I'm not having a set strategy. I sit down and anything can happen, you know. You can lose really quick, you know, and then I usually tighten up a little bit, or when it's going well, I pull some moves sometimes, you know. So it's really like anything can happen, and I will just see how it goes.
Oh, I've seen your moves before, triple barrel bluff move. So let's see if that happens tonight or in the next today and tomorrow until Monday.
I hope I got 24 hours to do something, you know.
All right, best of luck.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Philipp.
He does come with a big pedigree, Gruissem, and
Hello.
Hello.
I mean, what generation would you describe him as? The original online German wizard, or maybe the second phase of German
No, I
wizards?
think you could
or
put him in
the
one of the
originals,
originals. He's
yeah.
been around a long time,
Yeah.
and he's one of those players that you have to give so much credit to, because he's been at the top. You know, he's been in that echelon of players for so long. You know, he's adapted the whole way through. And you know, you were just saying about, you know, what year did you start bringing blockers into play? But
Right.
he's the guy that's been at the forefront of poker theory for, you know, a long time. Doesn't seem like a long time in real time, but in
No,
poker
I mean-
terms, it's a long time. You know, the game's moved so much in the last.
Right, I mean, there
10
was
years.
certainly, I guess, like we could say maybe 4 years where Germany seemed to be far ahead of everyone else in no limit hold'em theory and poker theory. Guys like him and this Mad Marvin, maybe the crazy guy with all the hair.
That's how it goes, huh?
But you're not a fan of the Tash, though. Well, you are a fan of the Tash.
Oh, I love it. No, he's got style. Man.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
12.
I even like his outfit.
I
I mean, he's,
don't play Hold'em, so
you know,
I'm sure the second half.
he's
Hold'em.
taken a Johnny Chan 80s Fila
Oh.
sweatsuit and he's made it his own.
Okay.
But the deal was 12 hours, and then I get to keep 50% of
So
it.
you play 6 hours here, and then 6 hours Hold'em, or?
No.
Oh, you had to choose.
All Omaha, yeah.
Okay.
So it was meant to be all Omaha. It's going to be 36 hours.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, did I just hear that the deal is he gets to keep 50% of what he
So you
wins?
gotta
Wow,
try
I'm just
another
sorry.
7
Just see
7
Isilda
hours,
flop the
guys.
stone
Absolute
nuts
nuts.
there with the nut flush draw, and Rob with
Just try to take
so Rob is
back,
back.
and then you won't lose it anymore. You know?
Now I don't
If you
notice
take
that.
it off me, I'll not be happy now. Then you could fall out if you take my chips.
Bet 6, 7.
Okay,
No, I think
then
the qualifier was doing the promotion he won. He keeps
You
50% of his stack at the end of the.
Works enough.
Absolutely fine. I'm just weighing who gets the other 50%.
It's good for me to survive. It's good for all my
We do.
support.
Do you not know?
I survive.
I mean,
Did nobody tell you? It's
I mean,
split between the commentators. We have a
I'm
sit and
not-
go.
You know,
We've got I believe the Russian, the German, and the English team have a sit and go, and we play out for it.
It's not that I don't think it's not a great deal for him to keep 50% of what he wins. It's that
what's
I
your
don't
name?
think they're giving the other 50% back to
John?
the guys at the table who
Philipp.
lost it. So I'm just wondering.
Oh, we got a pot here going on, yeah?
I'm just
We got a pot
wondering.
here.
I'd imagine it's piled back into some sort of promotion. So Rob continuing here. Looks like he called a pot bet there with
All pots to big.
third set on a straightening board.
I can't.
Oh,
really.
it's a genius move now. But even then, he's made an underboat. Not the strongest hand at Omaha.
I'm sure it'll get there.
But away we go.
I mean,
this is a really easy fold for Isildur. If he didn't have the nut flush draw in his hand, it'd be a harder fold. But when you know, the only thing he's beating now is a busted flush draw, and you block the best one of those. So really hard to call, and he won't call. You know, he has to be beat.
yeah, and I mean, like, sorry, but the reverse logic there is that there's not a ton of hands Rob can get called by that he beats. Which I know sounds weird with a full house, but I mean, honestly, he's making a bet to nothing nearly.
I think, yeah, the bet size as well. Like Isildur's basically saying he's got straight. He's bet the flop and he's bet the turn when the board's changed slightly. It looks like he's got straight.
Maybe come back, Tony,
it's
or
a bet
is
so
that
big as
board? Come back?
Yeah,
How much
he opens himself up there.
Small blind, straddle, 100. Restraddle, yeah?
No, limp. I just call.
What is that, a straddle or a limp?
Call. Yeah. 8, 1, 2.
So Gary obviously found a hand he wants to play, but as I was saying earlier, he really needs to play all his hands to call.
5 calls.
Yep, and Gruissem was right onto it. What is that? Is that a call?
Sam's popping it up.
8 call, 1, 2 call.
Okay, Rob with a nice hand, ace 8, 9, 10 with a suit.
6 pair.
Tony G with not quite a nice hand. And not a bad flop for
5 check,
Sam.
7 check, 8
And
check,
John has the 4.
1, 2 check. 4 bet, 4,000.
Yeah, I was interested to see if Sam was going to bet or check. With 6 people, you probably just bet it out and just try and get any 4 to catch you, or do you check it and hope someone else brings up a full house?
There's no way this board develops in a way you're going to get action. You've got to be betting.
Yeah.
People make that mistake, you know, in Hold'em, you check back these kind of boards, but in Omaha, you're only going to get paid if someone has a 4 in their hand, so you may as well start building the pot now. He's actually unlucky that John's got such a bad 4, 7, and a pair in his hand, so hard for him really to continue if Sam applies more heat.
10,000 for.
Do you actually think this is a possible pass?
And if it's not, it's a pass by the river. But I think it'd be hard to pass here, but wow. Okay, I don't quite know what this raise is supposed to achieve. Sam right now cannot believe his luck.
What by the way does Sam fold right now?
Well, this is it. He's obviously, it's almost like one of these raises just to see what's at. But there's no hand Sam bets the turn with. Wow, that's disgusting.
It's pretty funny.
That is disgusting. I mean, Sam shouldn't really put much into this pot. I don't think he'll put anything in. But yeah, I mean, that check raise just achieves absolutely nothing. Unless you're worried about getting bluffs in the river, but Sam's, that's not a thing in this spot.
30,000.
How much does Sam Trickett hate life right now? I mean, this is just Omaha. You're going to see bigger hands.
You see things happen. I mean, it seems crazy, but Sam will, I'm for sure, will have to let this one go. It's puke because he got his man absolutely boxed off, check raising him on the turn with a hand that almost can't lose.
A true one-outer. A true one-outer.
There's no other hand that Sam has the 2 kings in his hand. When John check calls
how about the
king
10s
4-4,
how about the 10s
but he doesn't proceed on the flop with pocket 10s. He has to have a 4 in his hand to proceed. There's just no way he has anything but the 4. Sam's just feeling sick because he was about to win a really nice pot.
It is one of the more sort of ironic things about Omaha. Even though you have more cards and more possibilities, the ranges are actually narrower once you get to the end of the game. Right?
Especially in these multi-way pots.
Yeah.
There's a single raise pot, 1K to go, 5 or 6 to minute.
I mean, it's not even
so
a polarized range here, is it? There aren't really any bluffs.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right. He only has quads.
That's hard.
Again, it might sound like anyone watching that we can see the cards, but it really is that simple in this spot. He doesn't check call and then check. He just has a 4 when he check calls the flop. He shouldn't this is the one thing.
So it's the,
Sam's
min
thinking,
check raise. He's like
Sam's thinking you're pretending like the only thing he's thinking is the only hand you should have check raised with the turn with is King's Full, and that's what I have. So, but then Sam's basically assuming he has just a random king that he's check called the flop because he think maybe it's good and turn it to a bluff. But the way more likely scenario is that he's got a 4.
Right.
And maybe 4 king. That's maybe the one hand he does check raise.
I think he's
with.
actually trying to convince himself that the guy was on an air mission.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
An air.
So the only thing he can maybe construe is that he called with a nice king like ace king, whatever, just to think maybe he's good, and then thought, oh, I'll turn it into a bluff of King's Full because I block King's Full and all that. But that is possible, but it's like a 1%. It's just not. The guy just has a 4. You have to know someone very well to start thinking that no.
Oh.
Obviously, Sam's looking at it. He shouldn't have got check raised on the turn. That's the one niggle in his mind is what hand check raises me on the turn.
He actually, I guess when John did check raise him on the turn, Sam was thinking, well, I might be up against quads here, so I'm going to have to call it down. Like it was that kind of thought. And then the 4 absolutely just boggled him.
Well, he could be bluffing. That's the only thing he's thinking is because he's check raising on the turn that maybe he's bluffing.
Did you hear Tony?
Yeah, because you didn't raise. Yeah. Throws them in non-stop.
Now Tony's been in probably, I don't know, 5 of the 10 greatest televised hands. I mean,
amazing
from
TV
an
poker.
Entertainment point of view.
He's incredible for the game.
I mean, I still think the Ralph Perry hand is one of the greatest television moments. It's sport.
Send more Russians.
Like a really, really sick bluff. That guy, the Chinese guy.
It's a shame he's not playing as much poker as he used to. You see him everywhere. He's so busy outside of poker.
Restraddle 8.
Yeah.
16 restraddle.
6,400 straddle, and Rob has found the aces in the 3,200 straddle.
16, yeah?
And Tony G's got a lovely hand himself, ace 7, 8, 9 double.
Holy Toledo! G straddled the 64.
The game is on.
8 pass.
Perfect
6
chance
for
there.
3 restraddle.
You don't have the ball.
Should I get in my 3 big blinds now?
I didn't put in that time.
3 big blinds, maybe.
Please chips.
47.
Thank you.
64. 64.
6 for.
I can feel the raise coming.
Yeah,
up.
rebuy is a 40.
I hope so.
So I have at least
5 pass.
7 blinds.
16. Call.
Tony actually has to raise his hand. Ace 7, 8, 9 double. These guys are limped in. For sure he's raising. This is going to work out perfect for Rob. We've got a contender here for our biggest pot.
I'm really impressed with Rob. I feel like he senses these things. I mean, like if you know Tony well, like when Tony says something like that, actually he does mean he wants you to raise.
3 call.
This is incredible. Rob's going to make 80K here.
I don't think either one of them are going anywhere. So,
I mean, Tony, I'm much going to hate it. I can't see him. I don't know. I mean, it's so bad having an ace in your hand, but that's such a good hand.
all right, I say G calls. How about that?
I think he does as well.
5 raise spot.
He was loving the situation when they both limped in and he made it 20K with that hand.
400.
He's gone from loving it to hating it. But for 60K with 120 back, I don't think he can fold because it's a kind of hand that
400.
it flops,
82.
So cleanly.
I mean, it was fairly amazing for Rob to slip that.
It's worked well.
With one guy
raising
behind him.
with the one guy behind, yeah.
And the wolf.
That's smart though, because he knows because the wolf's limped, Tony wants to isolate the wolf. So he's going to raise with a lot. As it happens, Tony's got a really good hand. So but he would have raised with a lot worse hands.
So, I mean,
This
the
is
big
huge.
danger for Tony, and I mean, I don't know how you think about this, but how many hands do you call your extra 100K off with?
Well, the thing is,
Anything
ace 7,
that's a
8, 9
pair.
flops in a way that you're going to know what the good ones are. Well, this is one of them. You know, pair and an open-end rate. Wow.
All right, I'm all in.
It's all in.
Yeah. And Rob's got a
All-in
nut
call.
flush draw. What's it? 550? Oh no, sorry, 425,000 euro pot. Just a house in this one, Jesse.
Is it? It is. Biggest pot so far. Biggest pot of the night, ladies and G's.
5, 10 more.
And G's a 2-to-1 dog. A spade would dink him.
A brick. So he will need a 9. Oh, no, that is one of the guys. That is one of his
That
outs.
is it.
He needed a 5, a 7, an 8, a 9, or a 10 that wasn't a spade.
I knew it
Wow.
was going to happen, right? You got to love it. Champagne for the casino. You remember that, right?
And suddenly Tony G's the big winner.
When I came to your casino, look at that. A date with an 8.
Oh, no.
Get everyone a round of champagne.
I have the chips. They coming?
I got the heart.
100.
I got the heart.
118.
I got the heart.
118, 400.
How much?
118.
180
Look
on
at
pot.
Isildur.
500,000 pot.
How much? 180?
100.
He loves it.
180 on top.
Everyone's a winner.
100
But I was qualified, right?
and 18.
Rob was brilliant, brilliant. He had me like a baby, except the dealer.
400, yeah?
Look at that. He's had 50K. He was stuck over
How big is that
200.
pot? I took everything.
Wow, he was in for
Everything.
375.
Next hand, I take everything. Rob's gone. He's tilted, full tilt. Forget about party. He's tilted. I took everything. I had the heart and commitment to win. I played it like a set. Look how scary that is.
That is
Who wanted to give me 100-to-1 on Tony getting even? Did you hear that before?
You
No.
play, you
I
win.
asked for odds on
Next time
Tony
play.
G getting even. I said I wanted to.
You win, right?
Thank you for your advice.
Wow.
Small.
Welcome back to King's Casino Razvedov, where we've just had our biggest pot of the night. Guess who won it? I'll give you a clue. It's the guy who's chirping.
.com.
Coinpoker.com. As seen on Coinpoker.
He will never stop talking
Everyone's a winner.
One more.
when he's winning, nor smiling, Tony G. You know, he can be one of the
16.
greatest players to have at your
37.
table, except when he's doing what he's doing right now,
Don't try this at home.
which is stacking chips.
Only for TV. And only at the King's Casino. I straddle every hand. I straddle. I told you.
You better
Look at the straddle I had.
Straddle
I mean, how many people
3,200.
straddle 6,400? Who's got the heart and
Hey,
commitments?
Only 20 days.
I don't care. I'll straddle every time. We can do triple straddle if you want.
And I mean, you know, it's all
I'm
just
an
so
amateur.
hard if you're Rob Young. He's been up 36 hours already, 2 days.
500.
Give him 500,000. He wants to take everything.
12 for
He was stuck 150, then he was up about 200, then he actually got up to leave, played one more hand.
4.
The crazy thing is, he's only losing 30 grand.
Look at this. Bang, bang.
So the Wolves pumping it up. Queen 7, 8, and 9 double. Sam coming along with ace, king, 8, 6 with a nut suit. Sure, Rob would be folding. Tony G's going nowhere with ace, jack, 10, 7. Oh, I was wrong. Rob is playing with the jack, 8, deuce, deuce.
See, now we're playing some poker.
That is, there we got some tilt here.
I'm qualified again.
You're in.
So now the game, look at these. 4-way for 12,500.
Sam flatted, Rob's in.
Rob's in with the deuces, single suited.
Yeah.
You're in?
Why, you scared?
No, I'm not scared. I'm just asking.
This is already 50K
Oh, no,
pot.
double up.
Wow, Rob with a 500,000 euro reload.
We've hit over
Chips!
And they thought there was going to be a
Chips!
40K cap in this game.
20,000, become a millionaire in a few
I am
hours.
now $500,000
Hands
back.
with me.
And what do you think our qualifiers
We
thinking
make
looking at this?
millionaires. My salary, like.
Come on, Gary. Come on, Gary. This is your chance, man.
Sam's on it. Gary's chance to win €1 million.
We had him broken down, didn't we? Hanging around the slot machines with Warren, ticking it.
check.
kicking his heels.
Moaning about all the dealers.
I was on life support.
Normally I get in my car. I mean, like, he was hanging around the toilets.
Check, check.
He was hanging around the toilets, and now we've let him back.
Check.
This is one of those times when you don't really know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Just with $500,000
It's a
off
shame
my
that everyone's missed this flop. I like
Friends.
50k in there. These 4 players could see some action. Well, there's an interesting turn.
3 bet, 24,000. Yes, 24. 4 pass. 5 pass.
Buying in for $500,000 after that hand is a real, a powerful statement, and I respect it. But there is a caveat. There is a caveat, which is when things start going wrong, it gets really unpowerful really fast.
Well, I mean, it's,
You know what I mean? Like,
we could legitimately see a €1 million pot in the next few hours in a 100-100 game.
I mean, it's hard to avoid it, really.
With these two guys, the only thing I'm gonna say is Tony probably will calm down a bit now. He's up. He's sat super deep. I can't imagine him playing these big pots again, but we'll see.
Tony G, oh, how the tide has turned, my friend. It started off a little gruesome there in the beginning. You were stuck about 200K, but you actually got up from the table. You took a moment. We didn't see you for about 30 minutes. You came back a little bit more, relaxed, and you just took a really nice pot there, sir.
Yeah, I was lucky, you have to admit, but I'm having a lot of fun. It's great. I love to win. And these sort of pots at 450K, it gives you a big rush.
Absolutely. Enough rush for everyone to get champagne at the casino? Did I hear that?
Yeah, I said I'm buying champagne for everyone.
Okay, I just wanted to reiterate just to make sure in case, you didn't hear right.
I said it's champagne for everyone. Everyone who wants champagne, just come out and you've got a free bottle of champagne.
Lovely. All right, well, best of luck for the rest, Tony.
Thank you.
All right, stay awake. Come on.
Yeah, it's no problem.
Oh, he's a good guy, Tony G. Good to finally see him in profit at last. He's been rooted to the bottom of this table all night. Look what one hand can do. He's now 49,000 euros up, but hasn't got the most profit. That's John G. And he hasn't got the most money on the table. That's Rob Yong. But Tony does have the biggest smile and maybe soon the biggest bar bill. I say biggest smile, but look at Gary Hagan, our online qualifier, who's taken 20,000 into 35,000 in only 5 hours work. Great stuff, Gary. Of course, the big game historically has always been exciting. The stakes of this game, I think, dwarf already any other big game we've ever had.
It's more. I mean, on paper, this is a 100-100 game. As we know, there have been some pots with straddles, and it was straddled to 6,400 a moment ago when Tony G got very lucky to outdraw Rob Yong for a 450,000 euro pot.
Right, and this is playing as big as a normal 200, 400 game. Like, when you think back to the classic high stakes pokers of the past, this game's playing that big.
Yeah, way bigger, I'd say. I mean, if you get the straddles up to 6,400, this game is just insane. I mean, that was, I have to stress, that was the only one, but we've had plenty of 3,200s on. And I can't imagine the game's going to get smaller as the night goes on.
51, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and 64.
As in weight.
And weight and everything.
Interesting again for anyone who's just joining us, a slight different dynamic with Gary there you see on the screen.
Yeah,
he qualified line for the game, so way above the stakes he's used to playing. But he's doing himself no disservice. He's up 15 grand at the moment.
Yeah, and it's not even really up. All the chips in front of him are theoretically, that's cash to his bankroll if he cashes out. He's got about 35K right now.
The only rule he has to play 12 hours of the game, and he's just hit the halfway mark.
Well, let's see
so
what happens. We don't know what's going to happen.
He's definitely playing the safest strategy of all the players on the table. I say this now as he's firing out with one pair. But it'd be interesting to see how he goes on, because the game is playing huge. It's hard to keep out of trouble in a game like this.
I think if you're a poker player and you have dreams, then you gotta love this Gary story, because Could easily be any one of us. Gary's just a 1-2 Pot Limit Omaha player, made a $10 deposit into Party Poker, got a raffle ticket, won the 20,000 seat, and here he is.
And he's turned gin here. That's the best turn card he could think of. Interesting that, well, he's checked, I guess. He wants to let Sam have a stab at it. I'm surprised Sam even been called against Gary, how tight Gary's been playing. When he leads out in a multi-way pot here, top and bottom, with no real draw, wasn't really a hand I'd want to be continuing with.
Right, you got to figure Gary's either got a set or he's got a big wrap in your mind.
And okay, Sam's got a gut shot on 2 pair. It looks okay on paper, it's best on such a dry board, but it's not a hand, I think. Unless he was calling just to do this, to mess with him on loads of turns. He just thinks he's so weak, he can just pick him off. As it happens, Gary's playing it perfectly. He's making out he's weak, but here he is with the best hand.
It is the best hand, but it's still vulnerable. And really, is there a check raise here?
Yeah, I think he's just going to check jam here. He's got exactly pot back. Or he can get it all in. I think he knows that if Sam had a better hand than him that he has now, he probably would have raised the flop. If he had set 7s, 4s, or 2s, probably would have got raised in the flop.
Really?
Great turn. None of the
3 deuces.
None of the straights. Well, 3 deuces. He's probably folds now anyway. So this is well played by Gary. Sam's been done.
Said I was going to fold.
Yes, all in.
I mean, even that hand.
It's a pro play, right? This is
it's a fantastic play.
Shrewd play.
It's fantastic play, especially because even on a better level, not just on the fact that he's got Sam to put money in and he can check raise them all in and just take the pot down now. But if he did bet the turn and Sam called, there are so many bad river cards for his hand. Any card from 8 and below is a bad card for him. So it's quite easy for Sam to bluff him on the river if a hand comes. This is it's the safest way to play this hand.
It's approximate. I might be wrong a few percent.
Like we say, doing himself no disservice.
And of course, I mean the meta game.
Wow.
Showing the guys
called.
Right, because so Sam thinks that he might have a
draw.
Yeah.
He's got his gut shot.
Sam's in much worse shape.
Two or 3.
Right, much worse shape than he thought he might be.
He needs a 2 or a 3.
2 and a 3.
Deuce and 3.
Wow, 1 time or 2 times?
Gary's going to have 73,000 if he gets this passed.
Play only once?
Just once, yeah.
It's like a 5.
Beautiful.
Gary's going to be millionaire.
New millionaire.
I saw a low card there.
I'll tell you what, he's a cool customer, but I mean, this is a man who probably normal buy-in might be 20 or 30 euros, and he just had to sweat a 70,000 euro river. Welcome back to the King's Casino Razvedov and the Party Poker Live big game. Some big characters at this table and more to come. There's Marianella. I believe she might be swooping in for one of the evictions, which as we know, and now if you are watching and haven't participated yet, every 3 hours the public is going to vote someone off.
We are now 6 hours into the Party Poker big game here in Razvedov. Only 30 more hours to go, and it is time for our second vote off. Now, you guys at home watching have been voting for your favorite player, and the least player, the player with the least amount of votes, unfortunately will have to say goodbye right now. So the only exemptions here are, of course, our qualifier. So you're good for now, Gary. And the most aggressive player, which according to our stats is Tony G. Lots of auto straddles and raises there. Well done, sir.
Points for auto straddle.
Yeah, I guess he does get points for that. Good job, Tony. Good job. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, boys, but it's time to announce now. The person being voted off is John. Gina, I'm so sorry.
No problem. Coming back later.
You'll be back for sure.
Thank you very much.
All right.
He's coming back, and I believe, James, that he is ahead in this game.
Oh,
so
he's a big winner.
he's crushing.
He's no. I think he was the last man in actually. He came in after the last vote off. When Leon was voted off at the first vote, he came in. He's played a short session. I believe he only was in for that first 20k buy-in. So I might be wrong. He might have been in for 40, but he had at least 150k in front of him there. So I'm sure he's not too worried about being voted off.
So we had John go, and someone must fill that seat. So here is Vladimir Troyanovsky now. You're looking a little tired, Vladimir. You told me you had how many hours of sleep? 4?
Yeah, I sleep the last 48 hours, just 4 hours.
4 hours.
Yeah, but I waked up just half hour ago. So I have a force.
But you're ready for this big game.
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready every time.
Vladimir's always ready, ladies and gentlemen. All right, well, congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
So he's clearly hallucinating.
I just love that we've got these guys. Okay, we've told them weeks in advance you're playing a 36-hour cash game. Get yourselves ready. So Rob decides to prepare by not sleeping for the previous 36.
Vladimir tops that.
Vladimir goes, I've had 4 hours in 48. I mean, what are these guys thinking?
By the way, now I only know a little bit about Vladimir, and he hasn't played much in America, but as far as Russia and Eastern Europe poker scene goes, he's a monster, right?
Yeah.
I mean, an absolute big winner.
2 points.
Hello, I have a big
I see Rack heading towards Rob's stack, so don't know whether he's finally turned in for the night.
Rob done.
And the soup, I have a soup. What do you have?
Which, by the way, is the much better way to leave the game than the way he tried it first. I don't, For those of you who weren't watching, Rob announced he was leaving and playing one more hand, and he proceeded to lose like 400,000.
Well, yeah, he only lost about, I think, 30k in that hand, but he thought, right, I'll play a few more, and then followed it up by losing another couple of hundred.
1600.
Dangerous game.
It's hard to think the guy cashing out 800 grand is losing, but.
The Wolf was also stuck a bit. Yes.
Yeah, the Wolf.
Yes. I mean, more considering where he was. He was one of the early big winners and dusted all that off.
Yeah, because he spun the first 20 up to about 150k.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's on me.
See Eternity just calling now with the kings for us limping in for the straddles. Early he was trying everything he could to get money in a pot.
No, he's the godson. Most joking around.
Gonna flop for nobody.
15,000.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that probably surprises people the most who don't watch this kind of stuff a lot is they just don't believe it's for real money because everybody's so relaxed. I mean, it's almost...
Yes, just wait for him.
Look at that, the floorman came to cash out Rob's stack, and they left 20k on the table. It looks like
In the pot.
just 20k. Just I think there's a lesson for
He'll never miss it.
But there's a lesson there for anyone who plays poker in these spots. Pick up your own chips and cash out your own thing. You know? A little mistake like that could have cost you 20 grand.
4,063.
Oh, the Wolf is in a situation where he can't lose the pot.
Right, unless he decides to fold the flush, which equates to he can't lose the pot.
Yeah. You don't think he's got a fold in him? We've lost Rob, but John, who was voted off, is straight back into the game.
He made a mistake. He's like, I got money, I'm awake, and you want me or not? For me, anyway, I think the most impressive endurance feat I've ever seen was obviously Phil Locke. I think it's about 7 years ago now. Played, it was 111 or something like that.
Smashed the record.
Smashed the record. Two great things about it. One, it was on a live stream. And this was early days of internet live streaming. And the second thing was they were playing 25-50 cash game at the Bellagio. After 10 hours, he was down a couple thousand, and people were saying you're a bit nitty. So he went over to the cage and got 100,000 out, and sat in 25-50 game, sat down with 100,000 for the whole 111 hours, which made it quite special.
Wow, interesting clash here. The 7 high flush draw against the 5 high flush draw. Not often you see that in Omaha.
Tony is praying for a card to make a wrap.
Yeah, I mean I don't think he'd be calling with just the bare 5 high flush draw. He's thinking we can get up to some fun here and lots of turn cards. And that's not one of them.
Check. Check. 10 10,000.
Oh no!
He's just pumping the 10,000 with a flush on a paired board. The worst flush you can imagine. Tony's come with worse.
Showdown.
7 high flush.
That's a value bet. That is a value bet.
What's the hand?
The only hand that can call him.
7 flush.
That, I mean, that's incredible.
That's good. Well done.
Tony G.
You bet.
I beat Tony G. Tony.
Can you believe it? After all that, Tony G back in negative equity, but only just. Well, that's all right considering where he was. Sam Trickett stuck nearly 100,000. John G has made good money in a short time. And look at Gary Hagen, the online qualifier, 70,000 euros in his pocket. In the next episode, we wrap up Pot Limit Omaha. How much, we wonder, will Gary end up taking home? See you next time.